All right, here's another example of converting using dimensional analysis. Now again, I'm going from a tiny unit of inches to a bigger unit of yards. So in my mind, I'm thinking that my numeric part should be smaller. These are going to be the same answer, it's just in different units. So if you have a tiny unit, you have lots of them. If you have a bigger unit, you have less of them, but mathematically they're equal to each other. It's just a different unit. Kind of like $1 is the same as 100 pennies. When you go to pennies, it's a tinier unit, so of course you have more of them. And when you're in a dollar, it's a bigger unit, so you have less of them. But mathematically, they're the same, equal value or equivalent value. So if your answer doesn't get smaller, something's going on here. So again, I'm going to start with this. And again, I don't think about the math. Like I don't think, oh, I'm going to multiply, I'm going to divide. I just make my little fraction things here. And I try to get the unit I want, and then the units tell me what math to do. So for example, inches is in the numerator here. So I want to cancel it, which means I know I need inches down here because my final answer is not in inches. So then I need to know a relationship. And so this is the English system, so it's not metric. So I'm like, oh, feet, okay. So I want feet on top, because obviously inches has to be on bottom. So then what's the relationship between these? Well, there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So then you notice that the inches cancel, so now I'm in the unit of feet, which isn't what I want either. So again, if I want to cancel, I need that unit down there to get it to cancel. So then I'm like, okay, what's the next logical relationship? Well, again, I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So 3 feet in 1 yard. And again, feet has to go in the denominator because I want to cancel. So the feet cancel. And now I have the unit of yard, which I actually want. That's my final unit. Now notice when I do this, the reason this is legal is because mathematically, what number is that? That's 1. I'm just multiplying by 1. And like with fractions, if you have a half and you want to multiply by, say, 4/4 to get 4/8, that's totally legal. All right, you're just changing the unit, but mathematically these are equivalent to each other. So as long as you multiply by 1, you're just changing the unit. And if it's 4/4 or 3/3 or 8/8, but you're not changing the equivalent value. They're still going to be worth the same amount, just in a different unit. All right, so this is 1, and notice this is also 1. 3 feet in 1 yard, that is 1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm not changing, I'm just converting to an equivalent mathematical value, just with a different unit. So then the math tells me what to do. So after I cancel the units, I just look. These numbers are in the denominator, which means I'm going to divide that by them. So you can either take this divided by 12 and then take that answer divided by 3, or you could take this divided by these together, which is 36. So it kind of depends on how you want to do it on your calculator. You could also put those in parentheses on a calculator, so this divided by the product of those. But I'm just going to take this divided by, what is that, 36? All right, so I'm going to take 38246. Hopefully I typed that in right. Divided by 36. And so I'm going to have to round a little bit. Well, actually, I got a repeating decimal if I didn't want to, but the exact answer is, what is it, 3, 8 repeating, because the 8 keeps going forever. Your calculator might round it to 8888889, but it's really a repeating decimal. Your calculator just rounds. So I might round to the nearest tenth here. So I use the little wavy things because it's not exact, but that 8 is going to round that up to about a 4. And then what's my unit? Yards. And then I'm going to kind of use some common sense here and say, did it get smaller? Yep, so that is a good sign. All right, so again, with dimensional analysis, you're using the units to help you know what to do. Sometimes you can convert things that aren't really using ones to convert, but you're using it to kind of solve a different math problem. So for example, say that you can drive, 300 miles in, I don't know, 8 hours. Okay, and so maybe you had some car trouble or whatever, and so they want to know the average rate in which you were driving. All right, so the question says, well, how many, the question might say, how many miles per hour did you average on the trip. So again, the cool thing about this is you don't have to freak out. You can just look and say, oh, they want to know miles per hour. All right, so you're going to use the units to help you solve the story problem. You want miles. Okay, so what is that? 300 miles on top, and then it per, so it's out of hours. Well, how many hours did it take us? 8. All right, so you want miles per hour. All right, and again, I can just use my calculator here. All right, so I want what? 300, and again, fraction bar means division, so divide by 8, and I get 37.5 miles per hour, or per 1 hour. So basically that's saying in 1 hour you can go 37.5 miles. So obviously if you were on 60 mile per hour roads, you had some car trouble or something happened, or maybe, I don't know, you were driving really, really slow for a long period of time.